Hello, and welcome to the final event in our Spring Recruiting Made Simple series. We'll give everyone a moment to trickle in before getting started. While we're waiting, please let us know in the chat where you're dialing from and what is one task you're trying to simplify or do smarter this spring. Victoria, I love your answer about recruiting from tech schools. That's a big one for this year. I see some Michigan, North Dakota, all over. Streamlining full cycle recruiting, that's a great one. Thanks so much for letting me know, Jessica. The question was, where are you dialing in from? And what is one thing you're trying to do simplify or do smarter this spring? And we'll get started in about a minute. I see one person said everything. I can definitely relate to that. Simplifying all the way around. Candidate pipeline, awesome. Looks like Pat has some friends in the chat as well. All right. Well, in the interest of time, I think we'll start getting started. For those of you just joining us, welcome to our Spring Recruiting webinar Made Simple. I'm Meg Nagel, Enterprise Customer Success Team Lead here at Handshake, and I'm joined by Kat Menansala, Director, Talent Attraction at Macy's. I've had the pleasure of working with the Macy's team for almost 5 years, and during that time, I've been able to witness the magic that makes up the Macy's team. Passion, fun, and commitment to quality, whether you're shopping for that special item, that special someone, or looking for your first job is truly what sets Macy's apart. Thank you so much for joining me today, Kat. Could you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Yes, thanks so much for having me, Meg and Handshake team. Hello, everyone. My name is Kat Manansala, and I'm the Director of Talent Acquisition and Candidate Attraction here at Macy's. I've been with Macy's for the last 6 years, and I started off my career here as a senior manager on the team, and I've grown into this role as a director where I drive the strategic vision for our employer brand and recruitment marketing strategy. My team really focuses on how we attract the right candidates through authentic storytelling, strong brand alignment, and really thoughtful candidate engagement. So a big part of my role is really partnering closely with, our business, our leaders, and our teams to share what sets Macy's apart and how talent thrives here. So I'm so excited to be here today.
Thank you so much, Kat. And I think that authenticity is really part of what makes Macy's so special. So jumping right in, what's the strategic importance of spring recruiting at Macy's? Can you tell me a little bit more?
Yeah, so spring recruiting is a key moment for us because early career talent and candidates are actively thinking about where they want to grow and what kind of impact they want to have. So, this is especially important for Macy's, where every role in our organization plays a part in how we show up for our customers. We focus on introducing candidates to our culture, our values, and the different paths available within the organization. So, highlighting internal mobility and real employee voices and stories really helps candidates understand, how their work connects to something bigger, whether they're customer facing or supporting behind the scenes.
I think that is something that's a really important story to make sure that we're kind of setting apart how you kind of distinguish those different experiences. So, on that note, we'd really love to talk about how you're bringing these early talent growth stories to life. And we have some of these handshake feed post examples on here. So, could you explain a little bit more to me?
Yeah, of course. So, that's a great question, and it's something that we are very, very intentional about. For us, bringing early talent growth stories to life really starts with spending time with our teams and listening closely to their experiences. We take the time to really understand, what makes their journeys at Macy's unique and the different paths they've taken, the skills that they've built and the moments that help shape their growth. So, those stories already exist. Our role is really to surface them in a way that feels real and relatable. We focus on, showing authentic voices, our colleagues talking about their day-to-day experiences, a day in the life, their life personally and professionally, and how leadership has supported their growth. So here on this slide, you'll see some of our colleagues share some of their colleague testimonials and, what they've really admired about their career journey at Macy's. We also highlight career success stories that show progression over time and not just a single moment. Um, on the next one, you'll see that there are really some great examples from our feed. The first video is featuring our assistant supervisor from our Macy's Herald Square location, who talks about her career journey, starting off as a seasonal sales associate and what she loves most about her role and the team. And that's really helped her bring her into this next step of her career as a leader in the organization. And, she talks a little bit more about her leadership and, she loves seeing her team really thrive. And then the second video, we had an amazing opportunity to spend time with our Macy's Sherman Oaks team there, get to know them, our store manager who also talks about her Macy's journey from sales associate to store manager and how she creates these moments of connection and brings our culture and values to life to build a place where people want to work and shop at the same time. And then lastly, you'll see one of our corporate colleagues who takes a part in one of our Macy's traditions where we take the day to service and support our own teams and customers during one of the busiest times of the year. So, with these three examples, we give candidates an inside look to what life at Macy's is. And that level of transparency builds understanding and trust and really helps early talent see how they could grow here too.
That's amazing. There are so many great examples here of how Macy's truly brings so many different aspects of your corporate culture to life. I think we all think of the 4th of July fireworks, we think of the Macy's Day Parade, and there's so many other milestones that you've just shared with us. So thank you so much for Kat for sharing that. Now, switching into spring recruiting, I understand that you're recruiting for so many different types of roles this spring. How are you really focusing on ensuring that you're delivering that quality that Macy's is known for versus quantity when it comes to engaging with candidates?
Yeah, this is actually something we talk about often. Quality has been a major focus of ours. Rather than driving volume, we're really focused on engaging candidates who align with how we work. The second is, what we value. And then the third is having that shared sense of purpose. So, what that means is clearer messaging, authentic storytelling, and transparency around expectations. So, when candidates understand the environment that they're stepping into and what they're expected of and how their role contributes to the overall experience, engagement is much stronger and the match is better on both sides.
I think that transparency piece is so important. We've talked about that in the candidate experience for so long in talent acquisition. So, really, I think that transparency is kind of a little bit of that key to that secret sauce there with Macy's. So, thinking about this a little bit further, as you're gearing up to make an impact this spring, are there new tactics you're implementing on Handshake that you could share with all of us?
Yeah, of course. So for us, I think this goes for spring and beyond. We're focused on showing up consistently and thoughtfully on Handshake. We're using the platform to share real moments from our teams, highlighting growth journeys and giving candidates an inside look at what it's like to work at Macy's day to day. So, you'll see us start spotlighting different areas across the business, helping candidates understand the breadth of roles available, like, some of our stores, our supply chain centers, some of our corporate technology roles or our Macy's call center, even from our marketing to merchandising. So we'll start highlighting some areas of the business to really help candidates understand how our teams not only come together to really overall support the customer experience. And then the second is, you'll hear more directly from our recruiters and our talent teams as well, offering perspective and expert advice on what matters most to us throughout their process and throughout their candidate journey. So we're approaching Handshake as a space to really build connections, helping candidates see how their skills, interests, and mindsets really translates into that meaningful work that we're doing across the organization.
I absolutely love that. And as someone who's had a first row seat to all of the things that you've implemented over the past years, I think this showcasing of the candidate journey, how people have started, whether it be in a store or working security or all those different areas, and then translating into corporate or vice versa, whatever their passion is, I think that really lends to a lot of the tenure that I've seen with the Macy's partnership, and a lot of that special history that you all have. So switching gears a little bit here from some of the overall aspects, one of the questions that we get asked a lot that partners are trying to think about is, how do you think about this from a quantifiable lens? So how are you approaching measurement and attribution and thinking about this in the lens of your strategy?
Yeah, so measurement is essential for us, and we always look beyond the surface level metrics. We focus on some key indicators that reflect alignment and intent. So, we think about how our content influences candidate perception over time. There's some touch points that also help candidates better understand our culture and how they would contribute, which plays an important role in the decision making process. So, Meg, to really answer your question, it's identify, what indicators are important to your organization that really reflect your alignment and intent.
I love that, kind of digging deeper into the indicators piece to really make sure that we're focusing that quantifiable element on what matters most to us. So, kind of in that vein of making sure that we're thinking about making spring easier for everybody, it seems like efficiency, especially the phrase do more with less, is on everyone's mind these days. How do you all drive efficiency while maintaining the Macy standard for engaging with candidates?
Yeah, efficiency is definitely top of mind for us, and we're very clear about where we invest our time, our energy, and we prioritize efforts that create the most value for our candidates and the business. And having this balance, helps us do more and also focuses on, what really matters to deliver a thoughtful, quality candidate experience and approach, and overall, really how that reflects to the Macy's brand. So, it's really being clear about investing your time and energy into where you are prioritizing your efforts. So, just being very clear with your strategy from the beginning.
I love that. And I know that I've mentioned it numerous times today, but obviously Macy's has an incredible legacy. How are you evolving the Macy's story in your talent brand, especially for early talent?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite questions. And I really think our approach to early talent really starts with having a really strong foundation. At Macy's, it really starts with our story. Macy's has been around for over 160 years, and our history and legacy runs deep with retail innovation and traditions as we continue to create these experiences that matter most to our customers and our communities. So this year, we're making some particularly iconic milestones with our celebrations that our colleagues all get to be a part of. And we like to call it our year of celebration. So this year will mark our 50th anniversary of our Macy's 4th of July fireworks, and then our 100th Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, which I'm so excited about, and our colleagues are too. So these landmark celebrations really remind us how deeply Macy's is woven into American culture and that collective memory, not just through the big iconic moments, but in the everyday celebrations too. So think about, getting ready to go to prom or your first job interview, your wedding or your new home, your baby's first birthday. So it all comes back to this collective memory on how Macy's is here for you through these everyday celebrations. And then, what it means to have a career at Macy's and what it means being part of that impact. Every role has a connection to the broad experiences we create, whether, through customer interactions, team working behind the scenes or contributing to the moments people remember year after year. By focusing on growth and learning and these authentic experiences, it really helps early talent. And Meg, I love how you talked a little bit about how, our organization, our colleagues really anniversary themselves. We celebrate some really big milestones, and we talk a lot about it on our feed. So we have a series where we love to highlight some big milestone career anniversaries. Colleagues making their 10th, their 15th, their 20th, their 25th Macy's anniversary, and showcasing their impact now and then. And it really helps candidates and early career talent see, you can build this really great, impactful career here. So, really just sharing with our talent how each of our colleagues get to make a difference and why Macy's really continues to attract passionate candidates who want to build rewarding careers here.
I love that. And I think it's not even just the Macy's team. Having the pleasure of partnering with you all for 5 years, I still remember the first time I came and visited the Herald Square location. And I had that kind of pinch me moment where I'm standing outside, I'm looking at all the things, and I'm just like, wow, this is a really cool moment to be standing here, being part of this amazing team, and really just seeing how much impact Macy's has. So even just as a partner perspective, I can totally understand that kind of magic that you will have. And selfishly, it's why I keep asking to visit every year to make sure that I could get that. And then I would be totally remiss if I didn't ask a little bit about the parade. I think everyone at home, always watching the parade, has so many questions about the people that are there and kind of what's it like to be there. So would love to ask from your perspective, the Macy's Day Parade, what's it like?
Yeah, it's a really iconic and special moment to be a part of. I remember, be watching the parade from, when I was just little, watching it from the TV and always wanting to go see it in person as a bucket list. But being a Macy's colleague, you have this unique opportunity to, be a part of the parade. So all our colleagues have this opportunity to volunteer for the parade in different roles. So you get to be a balloon handler, or you get to be part of a float, or be a clown. So all our colleagues really have this amazing opportunity to be part of this great experience and this iconic holiday and this moment. So I did have the opportunity to be part of the parade a couple years ago, and it was such a fun time. I remember waking up early, being part of costume, having them dress us up into our costume for our float. I was part of the Winter Dragon, and it was this cool mechanical dragon that was basically flapping its wings through New York City. And it was so fun because you just see the joy of the audience there who has been waiting all morning. And also seeing the smile on everyone's faces, the kids that get to, you get to wave to. So it is such a special moment. And then last year, I did have the opportunity to attend as, a viewer. So as a Macy's colleague, you also get the opportunity to have the best seats in the house to watch the parade. So there is some special seating where you get to watch the parade with some of your friends, your family members. So this year, I actually had the opportunity to watch the parade and get VIP seats front row center to watching the balloons go by. I brought my daughter and my husband. So it was such a special moment that I think I'll remember for a lifetime. But it was such a beautiful experience to be a part of, not only be there to watch it, but also be a part of it at some point in time. So with this 100th, yes, definitely, I'm very excited to be part of it.
I love that. It is such a cool moment for you and your family. And I know that there's tons of Macy's team members that have joined in today. Drashti had the beautiful pleasure of being on a float with her daughters, which is amazing. And then especially want to make sure that I also give some real life examples of some of the different career journeys that you've been talking about. I know that we have Madeline that's joined us, who's been with Macy's for 15 years. And then Blake has been in a variety of different roles and just hit his 25th anniversary. So happy 25th anniversary to Blake. I could go on and on and on about all of the magic that is all things Macy's, but I want to make sure that I'm bringing us back into just really showcasing all the different advice that the Macy's team has. So really want to kind of just kind of focus on you, Kat, and some of the different advice that you'd have for employers. So what are some things that you'd share with your peers in the audience today? What are some things that they can take away from today's session?
Yeah, definitely. So, I think it all ties back to how you are really leaning into personalization. I think that's the main theme, personalization, and but really being clear and having an understanding of what truly makes your organization unique. Every company has something special, whether it's your culture, your mission, your people. Those are the experiences that we create, and that should be the foundation of how you show up to your candidates. So, sometimes when you think of personalization, it sounds very complex, and it doesn't mean complexity. It can be simple as starting from somewhere and just telling real stories, showcasing real colleague voices, testimonials, and tailoring your message so candidates understand how their skills, interests, and values connect to your work. And just being simple. When you are clear from the very beginning on who you are and intentionally in how you communicate that, you attract candidates who want to genuinely align and work with you. So that is what I'd love to share with employers today.
Absolutely perfect. And I know that Suzanne had put kind of in the chat that some of the employers that are listening in today and some of our partners maybe don't have the history or the marketing department size that Macy's has. Um, as we kind of think about this, I think some of the things that you mentioned today really resonate for me as we're thinking about strategies that could be replicated across business. So, some of the things that I took back from our conversation today is really those indicators. So, what is most important to you as an organization? What talent does well? What messages really align? Leveraging some of those kind of North Stars and working backwards a little bit from there in terms of, okay, we know this is what we're really aiming for. How can we incorporate that throughout our strategy? I think the other thing is being very authentic. So if you have people that tell your story and tell your story very well, those are the people that we should be kind of asking to be some of those brand ambassadors. You have so many different people at Macy's that have shared so many different amazing stories. Some of them are TikTok famous. Some of them are just people that you meet throughout going throughout the store. So I think just really finding some of those special people at your organization is a great way to make sure that we're incorporating that. And I think the other thing is just keeping it simple. making sure that you're kind of highlighting what works, what doesn't. And if something doesn't work, let's throw it out and start over again. So I really appreciate you explaining to us that personalization doesn't need to be complex. It doesn't need to be over configured, that oftentimes that authentic voice is really what matters most to candidates. And just Kat, I thank you so much for joining me today and just sharing some of the different tips in terms of how you and all of the Macy's teams really incorporates all of that. It has been such a pleasure chatting with you as always. And really just want to thank everyone that joined us virtually today. We will have a brief survey for you to fill out with your feedback. And we do have a little bit of a short break in between sessions, but just wanted to say thank you so much again for Kat, your time today and spending some time with me and everybody that dialed in today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Meg and Handshake team. Thank you everyone for joining.
And also, everybody stay tuned for that next session in a little bit, featuring a student panel with some fresh insights on how to appeal to early and career job seekers. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.